What's up? It's your guy, Nick Frazier, man. Water Cooler Talk Podcast, man. We here tonight. We're going to break down Ball State, man. I know it's what people call a cupcake game, but you have to show respect to your opponents. And so guess what? We're going to break it down tonight. We're going to look at that team, and we're going to see what Auburn has to do to win. But before we get into that, Eugene Asante, bring us in.
Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
You are now tuned in to Water Cooler Talks, covering everything you love about college football, especially everything going down in the SEC Conference. So, if you love college football, you need to lock in. And now, your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick.
Yo, I had to unmute my mic, man. What's going on, everybody? How y'all feeling, man? It's your guy, Nick Frazier, one half of the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us again tonight around the water cooler, man. And we're going to get into it, man. As you all know, before we get into that, man, make sure you follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. On Twitter at CoolersPod23. Download Twitter if you don't have it, and follow us on Twitter at CoolersPod23. And of course, subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell button here on YouTube. So you know when we post more videos and when we go live, ladies and gentlemen, man, we appreciate y'all so much. As always, man, we are in this series tonight for basically the whole month of May. We're going to look at Auburn's schedule. We're going to look at each opponent day by day, game by game, and we're going to break them down. Yesterday we did Baylor. Had a good little discussion about Baylor and what potentially that game could look like for Auburn. Tonight, game 2 is Ball State. So we're gonna look at Ball State. I know a lot of people, like I stated earlier, this is what some people consider a cupcake game. And I know it may be boring to look at, but I enjoy doing it. I enjoy looking at the matchup, seeing exactly what Auburn can do to win, seeing who potentially could get in the game and play, in this type of game. So we're going to get into that tonight, man. But let's take a look in the comments and see what's going on, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us, man. JT with the quote of the day. His quote says, let's break it down. He says what one of his middle school teacher's favorite sentences was back in the day, man. Shout out to JT for giving us that quote. Let's break it down. I like that, man. Anthony Allen, what's up, my guy? He says, I'm first tonight. Tyrone, where you at? What's up, fellas? War Eagle, what up to you, Anthony, man? Hope all is good with you, my guy. Auburn Dad's in the chat saying, let's go, War Eagle. What up to Auburn Dad, man? Hope you're doing all right, my guy, man. There he is. The legend of Sweet Sugar Bow Williams. The Huggy Beard is rocking with us tonight in the chat. What's up, Huggy? Hope you're doing all right, man. What's happening, Nick? Not much, Huggy. In the words of keeping my head above the water cooler, making a way if I can. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, bro. That's what I'm doing, man. Shout out to all y'all, man. Auburn Dad speaking to everybody, man. Hope all is good with y'all on this Tuesday afternoon in the year of our Lord 2025. So we appreciate y'all so much, man. C Hall is rocking with us tonight, as always, man. My guy C Hall said, Warrior family, everybody. We're gonna run it up, make a lot of plays, big and small. I'm with you there, man. Look, I'm with you right there. I'm with you right there as well. This may not be a long show, to be completely honest with you, man. I did my homework on Ball State, looked at their defense, looked at their offense, looked at the coaching staff, looked at their roster, looked at the transfer portal ranking, looked at the high school ranking that they have. Looked at what they did last year. Ball State's not a good team, man. They're not a good team. And we're gonna get into it, man. So we appreciate y'all so much, man. As I stated earlier, man, we're doing this series of where we're continuing. We're gonna look at Auburn football schedule game by game. And we're just gonna look at each opponent, look at what we see, look at what we can anticipate, really. And I try to consider myself to be an amateur scout. That's what I consider myself to be. And so, it is what it is. So, I like to look and see what we potentially could see from these teams. And I'm gonna try to make this as interesting as possible, because the thing about this is what we consider to be one of the games that Auburn should win and win big. But if we all know Jacksonville State, Georgia State, you just never know. So you never cannot take your opponent not serious. You can never overlook your opponent. So we're not going to overlook Ball State. That's what we're not going to do. And so we're gonna take a look at them tonight and see what's going on, man. Huggy Beard said, man, Ball State don't get a full episode. Nah, they getting the same treatment that we gave Baylor last night. It may just not be as in detail because Ball State is a legitimate. It's not going to be a good team this year. They're not going to be a good team. They're not going to be a good team. They're in the midst of a lot of things that's going on at Ball State, man. So we're gonna get into it like we did last night, man. And we hope y'all enjoy it. Hope y'all enjoy these things because I just want us to be more informed fans about who we're playing and to be more informed about the teams in our league as well. Because we're gonna do all of the SEC teams, including the ones that we play on the schedule as well, this year. So we're gonna do all other 15 SEC teams because we talk about Auburn all the time here, so we kind of know what we have here, Auburn. And we're going to talk about all other 15 SEC teams as well, including the ones that we play on our schedules. And tonight, game 2, Ball State. Let's get into it, man. So Ball State, for y'all that don't know, Ball State is located in Muncie, Indiana. That's where it's located at. They are in the MAC conference, so they are part of the football bowl subdivision. Last year, Ball State was a 3-9 team, 2-6 in their conference, which led to the firing of their head coach, Mike New. Hope I'm saying his last name correctly. He was fired after 10 games. His tenure there looked really promising at the beginning because in his first year there, Mike New actually took them to a bowl game and to the MAC conference championship. So it looked as if they were progressing along with Mike New as the head coach. But after that year, they just never got back to those heights of being that kind of team and where they potentially could have been with what they did in his first year there. He was fired after 10 games in the 24 season, was the interim head coach. Colin Johnson, he was the O-line coach for Ball State last year. He served as an interim coach for the last couple of games for the season. And then Ball State made a decision, went in a coaching search, and hired a new head coach by the name of Mike Urimovich. He likes to be called Coach U, if you know what I'm saying. That's just what it is because a lot of people get tongue-tied. People like me saying Urimovich. Is what it is, man. So the Ball State Cardinals, man, you're looking at Mike Urimovich, man, first season as the head coach of Ball State. Previously, last year, he was the head coach at Butler in Indiana. They're both in the same state, so he didn't have to travel far to get to Muncie, Indiana, even though Indiana is a big state. If you ever drive it north to south, boy, it's a long little ride. It's a nice little ride there. He was at Butler last year. He was the head coach at Butler for 3 seasons. He had a winning season every year he was at Butler. So he won 7 or more games there. Notable coaching stops for him. He was at NC State as an offensive line coach. He was at Northern Illinois as the assistant head coach and the OC. And he was at Temple as the assistant head coach and the offensive coordinator as well. And here at Ball State, he's only been on the job since January. So he built out his coaching staff. He has got a transfer portal class in, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Had a lot of transfers out, got some guys in, tried to retain some guys as well. The guys that went in, tried to retain some of those guys. But biggest part about Coach Urimovich is Coach Urimovich will be the main primary play caller for Ball State this year when it comes to their offensive side of the ball. But Craig Harmon, who's been with him at a couple of stops as well, including Northern Illinois and Temple, will be the first season there with him at Ball State, and he will be the passing game coordinator. That's what he will be, the passing game coordinator. So it seems as if they have their guy. They're looking up. So they're in a transition season. And normally when you have a coach that comes in after the winter transfer portal, and he's not able to get a full recruiting class in, which we all know National Recruiting Day is normally in February, but now they have early signing day, and majority of the time teams get their rosters turned over in that winter portal period and that early signing day before that winter portal opens. So he's already coming in on the back end. So it'll be hard. It's going to be hard for them to make some noise this year in the MAC. So this is one of the main reasons why I feel like Ball State is going to be. It's not going to be a very good team. And if you already know the way that this show is going and the way this analysis is going with them, this seems to be one of, if not, it should be a very winnable game and a game that Auburn should win handily if you go there. Coming up next, man, looking at the defensive coordinator, I would go offensive coordinator, but Coach U, or Coach Urimovich, Coach U as he will affectionately be called, is going to be the offensive guy. And we're going to take a look at some of his offensive philosophy coming up. But Jeff Knowles is going to be the defensive coordinator and the linebacker coach at Ball State. Jeff Knowles and Coach Urimovich, if you look at their bios, apparently it's a stated thing that they've been friends since the 5th grade. So, but this is Coach Knowles' second season as the DC at Ball State. He's worked with Coach, like I said, he's been a dear friend of Coach U for a while, for all his life, basically, if you read the bios correctly. And he has worked at some of the stops with Coach U before, Northern Illinois, Temple, and at Butler for a period of time. And he's either worked as a position coach or the defensive coordinator there. As you can see, this is his second season as a defensive coordinator at Ball State. So he was on the previous staff, and he was retained by Coach Urimovich when he came on to be the head coach this year. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. I was watching when I was doing the research for Ball State, I was watching a interview that Coach Urimovich did, and he talked about getting the right staff in there that would be able to get on the ground running. If you want to liken it to anything, liken it to Coach Hugh Freeze saying when Coach Nix and Kent Austin were here, and now he's there, that they all were in alignment when they was telling us that last year. So basically, he's saying he's getting guys that know the system, know what they want to do on the with the offense and the defense, and how they are going to be effective in this offensive system. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and very important having guys that you are comfortable with, because if the comfortability of those guys with them and guys you can trust, majority of the time, it should lend to you being more effective and being more and guys knowing what you want to do next, and what the plan is and what the system is and how effective and efficiently we should be in with our offensive and defensive system. So Coach Urimovich, head football coach at Ball State. Craig Harmon will be the passing game coordinator, because Coach Urimovich will be the OC, primary play caller, and the head coach. And then Coach Jeff Knowles will be the defensive coordinator, linebackers coach at Ball State there. So we're going to keep this thing moving because, like I said, it's not really much that we can – it's not really much that to get here, but there are some things that we do need to look at when it comes to this team and how to just basically play by the standard. You're looking at this, if you're looking at this from an Auburn standpoint, you look at this from the perspective of, yes, Auburn should beat Ball State, but in this game, what is the standard that we're living up to as Auburn fans, as Auburn Tigers, as Auburn football players, as Auburn football team? And how do we get better, even though the opponent that we're playing seemingly is inferior to us? So how do we continue to play to our standard? How do we continue? What is that standard? How does Auburn continue to play to that standard and continue to be effective in game planning so that you can stay on point, on script for the rest of the season? Because even at the Ball State, You have a lot of games that's coming down the pipe that's going to be very crucial to whether Auburn hits that 10-win mark that I think they have the ability to get, that I think they will get to. And that can positionally that can put you in a position to be in the conversation going into the end of October, into December as an Auburn football player, Auburn University football fan or supporter of having playoff talk. And that's a whole different conversation. So let's get into it, man. So looking at Ball State's offense, man, Ball State's offense last year, we can't look at that last year because that offensive coordinator, that offensive staff is gone. So you have to look at what Coach Urimovich did at other schools. So you try to take schools that are similar to what he potentially could do at a school like Ball State. So I went and looked at his 20. He was at Northern Illinois from 2016 to 2018. So I took a look at the 2018, 2017 Northern Illinois offense. Also took a look at when he was the offensive coordinator at Temple. Took a look at the 2019 and the 2021 Temple offense, and some of the things that I saw from both of those offenses. He runs. It's a ball. It's when you look at these offenses. In looking at offenses, you do have the offenses where people be like, "This is a pro style offense. This is a air raid offense. This is a RPO offense. This is a West Coast style offense. This is a hurry up, no huddle offense. This is an up tempo offense." To me, I would kind of describe his offense as a ball control RPO style. Is what I would describe his offense as. What he's going to do, he is going to run the ball. That is one thing that he would do, and he will line up in some formations that you probably have never seen. Well, you've seen them, but you just be like, man, in this day and age of football, you just be like, I wasn't expecting to see that kind of lineup. So you potentially could see him line up in 10 personnel. So no backs in the backfield, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. You could potentially just see him line up in 21 personnel. So he can have 2 tight ends in the set, 2 tight ends on the same side, and have 1 running back. He can line up in a pistol set. He can line up in 11 personnel. He will utilize motion. He will motion a lot of guys just to see if he can shift the defense and then as well using motion to see if a team is in zone or in man coverage as well. He will use motion. And one thing that I did notice as well, especially at Temple, when in the years when he was at Temple from 2018 to 2021, 2019 to 2021, especially when he was at Temple, he will utilize his tight ends in the passing game. He will utilize his tight ends and he will call design quarterback runs. He will do that. And I'm gonna draw up one of the plays that I saw him do, that I saw variations of while watching some of his tape. So I'm just gonna use generic, center guard, tackle, tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback. So this is one of the sets, and I'm gonna put this up on the big screen so you can see. This is one of the sets that you will see him run, that you will see him do. You will see him line up in this set right here, in this 11 personnel type set. This is what you'll see. You'll see him line up in something like this with a offset tight end, running back to the opposite side here. So when you see that, I'm gonna bring my camera down a little bit so you can see. When you see that happening, you will see a play sort of looks like this, to where he'll draw up plays to get this tight end right here open to just design run plays. He'll use motion and send this wide receiver in motion. He'll come back, they'll snap the ball, they will take the running back to this side, to the flats. And then what will happen is this receiver will clear out of space here, come to the middle of the field, and this tight end will come up and go straight towards the end zone when they're inside the red zone. You will see him have design plays strictly for the tight end. And he does not mind using them. You'll see plays like that as well. Another set, and by him doing that, by him having a tight end in the set like that, and having a tight end in the set like that, it gives a a particular it gives a mismatch in the for the defense, because now you're putting a bigger body tight end on a smaller cornerback or a smaller nickelback or anything like that, and you just throwing up a jump ball. So you potentially could see in this game, and with that type of play or any other type of play, you potentially could see that tight end be on somebody like a Can Lee. You know what I'm saying? You could potentially see a 6'5" tight end, and if that clear out happens, and if Can Lee's responsibility is to play that deep third side of the field over there in a cover 3, he will be matched up on a tight end that's bigger than him. So you potentially can see plays like that as well. So he does not mind drawing up those type of plays to where it will benefit him and getting his tight ends in play. Another play that you will see him run more than likely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Another play you will see him in another set that you will see him in is this set right here. 2 tight end set. You have 7 guys on the line, second tight end right here behind him, offset. And what you'll see here is you'll see the running back here clear out this way. You'll see this tight end right here go up, do a nice little dig on the middle, and this tight end will just do a straight drag across the field in the red zone. And then you'll see this receiver right here clear out this way, and this receiver come in this way. You'll see that type of concept right there. So I mean, it's potential, and the first read that this quarterback is going to look at is this guy right here in the middle of the field in the red zone. So the thing about it is, man, he will put you in some sets to where the tight end will be the main and first read of the offense. Just looking at it, just looking at it, it's going to be interesting it's going to be interesting to watch. But like I said, I had to find a way to make this one interesting, because let me just tell you, this is a bad team. But Ball State is going to be a bad team. Ball State is not going to be a good football team this year. They're not going to be a good football team this year. I don't expect Ball State to win more than 5 games. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not expecting Ball State to win more than 5 games. So looking at this, I have to be able to figure out a way to make this interesting and figure out how can we be able to look at this and see how we potentially can just, I feel like Auburn's going to win the game, but how do we continue as Auburn fans and as Auburn, I keep saying as an Auburn staff, I'm not even on the staff, but how do we continue to just stay on point and just be able to continue to play to the standard without looking at the opponent, knowing that the opponent is inferior to us, and being and just becoming relaxed? Can't do that. Can't do that at all. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see there, man. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. You're looking at Coach Jeff Knowles now on the defensive side of the ball, man. Every defense nowadays runs some sort of nickel defense, and it's no different with him. No different with him with this defense. Some people may look at it and be like it's a 3-4. I look at it, if I had to look at this looks more like a 3-3-5, some type of defense like that. Maybe a 4. Sometimes it'll look like a 3-4, but it's a 3-5. That extra linebacker really is a DB. Is a DB / very star type guy. So you're looking at this to where they're going to have 5 defensive backs on the field, because that's just the way college football is played now, with offenses spread out, with offenses throwing the ball around the yard, and just the passing patterns of what offenses look like now. It will be hard pressed to find an offense that just has 4 DBs in the set right now. They're going to try to get a 5th DB on the field some kind of way to kind of even out that, just to get extra help on the field. Because if you have a 2x1 set, and 2x1 basically is 11 personnel, you got 1 running back, 1 tight end, 2 receivers to one side, 1 receiver to the other side. 2x1 set. If you can add an extra defender to the side where the receivers are, if you can add an extra defender to that 2 receiver side, that gives you an advantage. if you can have another receiver on top of the receiver where the receiver has one on the side, that's an advantage. Not mentioning that you do have a tight end on that side as well too, which could be covered by that linebacker as well. So listening to, I mean, it's gonna be a nickel type defense. But here's the thing about what I saw a lot from this 2024 Ball State defense last year in a couple of games. In the Miami game, mentioned Coach Knowles was the defensive coordinator for Ball State last year. Looking at their defense, sometimes they would line up with 2 down linemen. Sometimes they would just have the two interior linemen down with the hand in the ground, 2 stand-up edges, 2 stand-up edge rushers, and then everybody on the back end. That's what they would have. Sometimes they would have 3 down linemen, 3 linemen with their hand in the ground as well. And then have a stand-up edge on the edge. And then sometimes they will have 4 down linemen. So you can potentially see multiple fronts on the defensive line. But what I saw the most was kind of that weird. I'm not gonna call it weird. It's just really 2 down linemen with their hands in the dirt, and then 2 stand-up edges, 2 stand-up edge rushers. I saw that in the Miami game, and I want to say I saw that in the Miami of Ohio game as well too. With them last year. Was it Miami of Ohio? I want to say it was Miami of Ohio. Because I believe Rayon Strata got an interception against them in that game. And shout out to Rayon Strata. He's an Auburn Tiger now. So shout out to him. But you gonna see that in this defense. They're gonna play zone on the back end. And sometimes they'll play half coverage. So on one side of the field, in the back end of the defense, they'll play. They may play zone on one half of the field, and then on the other side of the field, they'll tag that with a man coverage, with putting their best cornerback on whoever the other best receiver is on whatever receivers on the other side. So you can potentially see that. You can potentially see 2 different coverages on the back end. You can see one half of the field playing cover 2, and then you can see the other half of the field manned up, the cornerback manned up with a receiver. So you can see that as well. So you'll see that. And it's gonna be interesting, but let me remind you, Ball State is not gonna be a good team. They're not gonna be a good team this year. Last year, 2024 defense was one of the worst pass defenses in the conference. And if I'm looking at my notes correctly, they ranked where's that number? They ranked in defense 134 out of 136 on defense. Out of 132 out of 134 teams in FBS last year. That was a pretty bad defense. Very bad defense. You're looking at their defense giving up 40 points per game. You're looking at they giving up almost 280 yards passing per game. They giving up 175 rushing yards per game, and they giving up almost 460 yards per game. Is what Ball State was giving up. And then, not to mention, they lost all that production in the transfer portal and did not get majority of it back. So, and like I mentioned earlier, the head coach came in after the winter transfer portal. So he was not able to win. And if you coming in after the winter transfer portal, you coming in January, I mean, you were not there for early signing period, and we all know that's where that's where the signing period is now for college football. You're not able to get in on the winter transfer portal to get guys to even get guys to come visit your campus. So he missed that, and so now you're coming in on the backside, and now you're just trying to get guys that's still in the portal, trying to get them to stay. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're trying to get the guys that haven't committed to a school yet that enter the portal from your school. You're trying to convince them to come back. So that's one of the main reasons why Ball State's not going to be good this year. The roster is just not that good yet. But who knows? Who knows? In this era of college football, they could get a nice windfall in NIL, and they can attract some guys to come in and with their next recruiting class to come in, and potentially they can flip that roster. But this roster coming up for Ball State will not be good. Now, they have some good players, but overall, they have like good key players, like maybe 1 or 2 good players, but as a whole, it's not a good roster, man. And things of that nature. Let's keep this thing moving, man. Like I told you, this may not be a long show. I try to tell you, this may not be a long. You're looking at some of the key players. for Ball State here, man. Quarterback K.O. Kelly. I hope I said his first name right, man. Interesting story about this guy. Came to Ball State as a quarterback in 24. He moved to the defensive side of the ball, but then before the season, moved back to the offensive side of the ball, but not as a quarterback, but as a wide receiver. And now, new coaching staff is in. Coaching staff have put him back at his natural position of quarterback. So he seems to be the guy that's going to be the signal caller this year for Ball State. Athletic guy. He can actually throw the ball and he can run. So he's a dual threat. And if you notice in the past, Auburn has had problems with running quarterbacks. So hopefully this defense, Auburn's defense, is keened in on what potentially he can be as a dual threat guy. And we potentially can corral him and keep him corralled in the pocket and not let him get loose. Because if he gets loose, he does have a chance to make some damage and to get some damage done. And if that happens, now we as fans looking like, here we go again. That's what we're looking at if that happened. Defensive end, Nathan Voris, transfer from Bryant. Bryant is an FCS program. Was reading the article, and a lot of these names came from that article, and some of them didn't. He was, they seem to say that he was probably the best player on the defensive side of the ball during the spring showcase that they had. He got very high marks, very high praise for what he showed during that spring showcase. Wide receiver Eric Weatherly, running back Elijah Jackson. There's another running back that came in. I can't remember. I think it's Quay Ashley is a guy. Ashley that they got coming in. So they're gonna have some running backs there. Very high. They seem to like this freshman wide receiver, Elijah Durham. They seem to like him a lot. So it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how they utilize him. And then the guy that they retained from the portal, Matt Good. He didn't do very much last year. His stats didn't wow last year, but I looked at some of the tape on him. Not a lot, but I looked at some of what he potentially could be. And if he get the ball in space and he get an opportunity, he has a chance to do something with it. So, I mean, you sit here and you look at the roster and you say, man, it's a lot of guys that not a lot. It's a few. Let me not over exaggerate. It's some guys on this team that can play, but overall as a roster, Ball State roster is not there yet. Looking at the bottom, man, Ball State is returning 31.8% of his total production. 7 returning projected starters are coming back. They ranked 126th in high school portal class, high school class, and 115th in the transfer portal class. So that's not a very good roster, man. Not a very good roster, man. And you would expect that, especially when they're having turnover on the coaching side. Not to say that Coach Urimovich won't get it to where he is, because everywhere he's been, he's won. And most of the places he's been at, Butler, I think he came into Butler and he had a 7-win season. Then I think he won 9 games this past year at Butler. And if you don't know, Butler is the same school, the Butler Bulldogs that always in the NCAA championship, that school. That's the Butler we're talking about. They just play in 2 different conferences. I think the basketball team plays in the Big East, football teams plays in the FCS and the Pioneer League. So you're looking at what he did there. It seems as if everywhere he's went, he's won, especially towards the back end part, and his offenses have been somewhat productive. So I implore you, if you want to take a look and see exactly what these offenses will look like, go take a look at that. Any 16, 17, 18 Northern Illinois team, any 19, 20, or 2021 Temple offense. Go take a look at those offenses and you can see exactly what this offense potentially could look like. Speaking on how this offense will look, like I said, it's to me, it's a multiple offense. It looks like a multiple offense, but it's a very run heavy RPO style offense. He's going to run. He's going to want to run the ball. That's something that Coach Urimovich is going to do. He's going to want to run the ball. Is what he's going to want to do. He's going to do it out of 21 personnel, 11 personnel. He'll do it out of 12 personnel if he have to. He'll have designed quarterback runs. He's going to motion in the backfield. I'm going to give you a good example of how you can correlate this to Auburn. If you remember Gus in the first year with Nick Marshall, and how Gus would use the if you watch the games, they would always call it the eye candy, is what they would call it. So when they would send a receiver in motion, he would Nick Marshall would fake it here, turn around, fake it to Trey Mason, and then turn around, or he'll either run or he'll throw the thing deep. That's kind of what you're gonna see with this offense. It's a lot of motion to kind of just get you confused of where the ball at. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? That's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see a lot of that. You'll see receivers come in motion. You'll see the running back come this way. Does the running back have the ball, or is the running back or is the running back on the swing route, or does the quarterback have the ball and he's running up the middle of the field? And if you have a guy like Kelly, who's an athletic type guy at quarterback, and he has a nice enough arm to get the ball to the tight ends, based on what I've seen, especially in that Temple offense in 2019, 2021, 2019, 2020, you look at that Temple offense, they utilized the middle of the field and tight ends a lot. That is exactly what he did. He did that a lot. So if you want to take a look at those years, man. 16, 17, 18, Northern Illinois, when Coach Urimovich was the assistant head coach in the OC, or you can take a look at 2019, 2020, and 2021 Temple offense when he was assistant coach or OC there. So you're looking at that and telling you my analysis on this, man. Ball State's not a good team. They won't be a good team. They'll surprise me if they're a good team. I don't see them winning no more than 4 or 5 games this year. Just gonna be honest with you. But that's not the point. The point of this is, even though Ball State is an inferior opponent to Auburn football, in this game, in this week, this game is to determine, we are looking at Auburn to see what is the standard they're playing at. Are they lackadaisical, or are they sharp and trying to give an effort and trying to be on point with every situation that's being called? Are they trying to play up to the standard of what they are trying to change the mindset and culture of Auburn to be? Is that what they're doing? That's what this game is. That's what this game is. We all know Auburn should beat Ball State, and they should beat them pretty handily. But even when they do that, does the second team guys, do they come in? Do they uphold that standard? Do they still play to that standard? Or are we looking at a team that's just like, all right, man, it is what it is? Nah, we can't be that way, man. We got 4 losing seasons behind our belt. We have no room as Auburn fans and as Auburn and as people that support and enjoy watching Auburn football. We have no room to sit back and just be lackadaisical like that, man. We have to be able to sit back and reckon with ourselves that, look, we need to be on point every single game, whether it's Ball State, Mercer, or whether it's Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma. We need to be on point for every single game. We need to be playing up to the standard of what Auburn is trying to get to in order to have a mindset and a culture change at Auburn. So that's it. And I mean that's really it about Ball State. You know, this is game 2, and we're gonna do this for every single team on Auburn's roster. Tomorrow night we doing South Alabama tomorrow night. And shout out to South. I graduated from South. That's my school. Love them to death. But it's the same thing there. It is the same thing there. South lost a lot in the portal as well, too. But the thing is, can Auburn live up to the standard? Can they continue to stay focused? Can they live up and play to what they can be and what we are expecting them to be? That's what it is, man. Let's take a look at the chat here, man. Huggy said, bruh, his name sound like you cursing somebody in an ancient Sanskrit. Urimovich. That's what it sounds like. I hear you, man. Shout out to Stephen Allen, man. He said, if Auburn beats Baylor, the rest of the SEC better look out. Yeah, we talked about Baylor last night, man. We had a nice little discussion about Baylor, man. And Baylor is not a team to overlook at all. Not a team to overlook. And I know a lot of people feel as if Auburn should come out and just beat Baylor, like beat them up. I'm telling you, Baylor is not a team to overlook. Not one to overlook at all. I think that is a close game. I look at that game as 2 ways. I think Auburn could potentially win that game by 10, somewhere between 7 and 10, or that game can come down to a final drive to where you get to see Jackson Arnold lead this offense on a final drive to either get them into field goal range to kick a game-winning field goal, or get in a range to where they can get a go-ahead touchdown. And that's how I feel. So I feel as if Auburn wins that game either by 7 or 10, or they win it by 3. That's what I'm looking at in that game, man. Huggy said, man, righteous, bro. Apparently, Steven has never seen Auburn before. Nah, man. He just Steve. Shout out to Steven, man. He just saying he's saying what we all feel and what we all think. Auburn should be that. That's what he all saying. That's what he's saying. I mean, we all feel that way. We all feel that way. I mean, we all sit here and say Auburn should win against Baylor. I think the roster is a little more talented. It's gonna come down to the intangible stuff, the stuff outside of the roster as well. And then, of course, against Ball State, Auburn should beat Ball State easily. It should be a win. Ball State's not gonna be a good team. Auburn 48, Ball State 13. I agree. And here's the thing about that. That 13 part is a little too much. I mean, I don't mind seeing 7 or 10, but 13 to me is still too much for this Ball State team. I'm just being honest. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, Ball State shouldn't score more than 10 points against Auburn, if that. If that. Realistically, what is Auburn's record at the end of next season? End of next season, are you saying the 25 season or the 26 season? Because if you're saying the 25 season, I think Auburn at the end of the 25 season, realistically, I'm just gonna be real with you. Realistically, I think Auburn is a 10-win team at the end of the 25 season. I think Auburn at the end of the 25 season is a 10-win team that has the opportunity to play in the college football playoff and host a playoff game at Jordan Hare Stadium. That's what I think. Realistically, I'm just being honest with you. Let's see. Huggy B said, man, the more Nick talks about this whack team, the more it sounds like the kind of team Auburn would give one away to righteously, bro. Nah, don't listen. I had to make it interesting, Huggy. I had to make it interesting. Ball State is a bad team, bro. They're a bad team. They're not good. They're not good, bro. They're a bad team. Not good. Not good, bro. We should handily beat them, but you still have to respect them. And in order for Auburn to do that, they have to respect the opponent and live up to the standard of what Auburn is trying to do. You just can't go in there and just be all in the words of said it entertaining. You just can't go in there all willy-nilly. You got to be focused about it. So, I mean, if Auburn's focused, Auburn should literally beat them by, I don't know. I would say 58-10. I would put that up. I would be comfortable saying Auburn could put 50 points on them. I would be comfortable saying that. I also want discipline this season. Absolutely no third and longs and great special teams. I'm with you on that too, C Hall, man. I'm with you on that one too, man. We gotta have that. And then the thing about the special teams part is too, man. You got Alex McPherson back kicking field goals, man. We should be able to be better on the field goal percentage this year. So it'll be interesting to see, man, exactly what happens there, man. Tim, what's up, man? What's good, my guy? Hope you're doing all right, man. Steven I said, man, if Auburn loses the Ball State, fire everyone, man. Woo. If Auburn loses the Ball State, we have it's going to be a very bad season. But I don't think that happens. I don't think that happens, man. Discipline. That's what it is, man. Discipline. Who mine? What up, man? Auburn dad said, now, Nick, you got that MSU energy with this team going to win 6, Nick. No, not at all. Not at all. I said I would be surprised if Ball State wins 4 or 5 games. I'd be surprised if they do. Now, Mississippi State gonna be a bowl team. And I'm telling y'all, bro. Mississippi State gonna win 6 games this year. I said this last Thursday. Go check the show. We did most surprising teams. Me, Tight, and Tez. We did the teams. I said Mississippi State is going to win. Is going to be the most surprising team in the conference. For one, they can't go nowhere but up. But for what they did in the portal, and we're gonna talk about Mississippi State towards the end of this series. But Mississippi State gonna be a bowl team. Believe that. Believe that. If Auburn loses the Ball State, fire them all on the field like Herm Edwards. Ooh, not the Herm Edwards. Y'all remember that? And they got it on camera too. They got the Herm Edwards. They went when Arizona State fired Herm Edwards. They got it on camera. Boy, I felt so bad for Herm. I felt so bad for Herm Edwards, bro. And I was like, man, Herm Edwards better than that. It's just certain guys that, in my opinion, that are NFL coaches, and then there are certain guys that are college coaches. Herm Edwards is an NFL guy, in my personal opinion. I'm just being real. He's an NFL guy. But, hey, it is what it is. Maybe he just wanted to challenge. I don't know. Timmy, what's up, man? He said, what's good, Huggy? AD Steven and see what's up, man. Vandy Chris, man. Make sure y'all go out and go over and subscribe to the Golden Broom podcast with my guy Vandy Chris over there, man. Y'all make sure y'all go over there and check them out over on the Golden Broom podcast. Go subscribe over there. Great guys, man. Great guys. They talk baseball. They talk all sports, really, but they really keen to that baseball, man. So shout out to them, man. If y'all ain't beat Ball State, y'all gonna have problems. You should win that by 3 TD touchdowns minimum. Yeah, I agree. Auburn should put up 58 points, almost 60 on them dudes. Like, for real. Auburn should cover, no problem. I'm with you, Dan. Shout out to Dan. I'm with you. Auburn should cover that game, no problems. Like I said, we're going through every single game, and we just gonna give each opponent the credit they deserve, man. See, we got our kicker back, so should be good on the field goals and extra points. Agree. True that. Yes, sir. Shout out to Sharp Shoes Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure I go over there and tune in and subscribe over to Be Sharp over the Sharp Shoes Podcast. They are on their way to 800 subscribers. Go over there and help out my guy, help out my boy over there, man. They doing all the good work over there, man. Shout out to Be Sharp, them, man. Tool man said, man, bro, they fired Herm on the field. Yes, they fired that man on the field, bro. And it's a video out there on YouTube. If you get a chance to go on YouTube, type up Herm Edwards. I don't know. I just type in Herm Edwards firing, and you'll see it. You see the moment when they told him, yeah, man, it's over. Herm was like, okay, all right. I think he put his hand on the dude's shoulder and was like, I understand, bro. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. They walked up to him while he was walking off the field and told him, like, yeah, we're going in a different direction. Huggy, the athletic director and the president of the university sniped him in the end zone. They surely did, bro. It was wild. I think that's worse than the tarmac with Kiffin, because they didn't even let him get off. They didn't even let him leave the stadium. At least they let Kiffin get to the airport. Man, Herm, they didn't even let that man get off the field after the game. That man was walking off the field trying to get to the tunnel through the game to get to the locker room to talk to his team, and they was like, nah. He said, man, Rice LeBron Herm better than that. You said it. I was typing. Yeah, man. Herm is that guy, man. Tim said, man, I sub to that Vandy channel, but righteously, I haven't seen anyone with a Vandy hat, and I live in East Tennessee. Oh man, listen, man, they good people over there, man. They good people. Shout out to Vandy Chris, man. They good people over there, man. Vandy Chris, good people, man. They all good over there, man. Herm way better than that, man. I'm a Herm guy, rightfully. That's job. Yeah, man. Herm, they could have did my boy Herm better than that, man. Of course, he took it like a champ. He is all class. Herm Edwards is all class. Ladies and gentlemen, man, looking at this Ball State, like I said, I tried to make it as interesting as I possibly can. Looking at what we potentially could see with this offense, what we potentially will see with this defense, with these guys. Ball State just going through it. They're going through a transition. That's what they is. And they're going through the trans. If they would have hired him before the portal window opening and the early signing period, and he had a chance to at least get out there and try to get some guys in, I probably would look at this differently as a team. But this team is not going to be a good team. Auburn should literally dominate this team, and in the words of Vandy Chris, we should beat them by a minimum of 3 touchdowns. I'm gonna say it right now. Auburn should win this game 58-10. I'm just gonna be real. But in order for Auburn to win this game 58-10, Auburn has to give the opponent the respect it deserves and not look forward 2 weeks to a game at Oklahoma. Auburn cannot be lackadaisical. Auburn has to give Ball State the respect and respect them as if they are a team that can potentially derail them from being where they want to go. So that's what Auburn has to do. This game right here is basically Auburn versus Auburn's mindset. That's what it is. Our mindset is we're playing to a standard, and we have to be able to continue to do what we need to do in order to get to where we got to get to. That's what this game is about, man. So it'll be interesting to see what that, man. Tim came in and said, man, against Ball State, you think Coach Free is going to try more trick plays than he usually do, or just air it out and stomp the body? I want Auburn to be able to win this game with their base game plan on both sides of the ball. Like you should not be in this game. You should not have to be pulling out exotic looks to beat Ball State. You shouldn't have to play your base defense, play your base offense, run your offense, and go out there and beat them. That's what you should do. That's all you need to do. But we'll see, man. But like I said, Auburn sometimes can be Auburn, but hopefully that culture and that mind shift has changed in Auburn, man. Ladies and gentlemen, man, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us tonight, man. I told you this probably would be a long show, but it ended up we still at 50-some minutes because I can talk. So we appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, man. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. Follow us on Twitter at CoolersPod23. And of course, subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell button here on YouTube. So when we post more videos and go live, man. We'll be back tomorrow. And we're gonna be breaking down the University of South Alabama. Jaguars, game 3. So we appreciate y'all so much, man. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, back here around the water cooler, man. As always, we appreciate y'all, man. You carried it as long as you could, Nick. Great stream. Shout out to you, Tim, man. We appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with us, man. Shout out to you, Huggy Beard, man. Thank y'all so much, man. The People's Champ, nah, man, that's The Rock. I'm just here. That's The Rock. I'm just here. Or Cody Rhodes, whoever they decide they wanted to be. I guess. But, man, we'll see y'all tomorrow, man. As always, y'all have a good one. Better yet, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a great one. As always, y'all be blessed. Make sure y'all give the man upstairs above his because he deserves it all. And until then, appreciate that, Steven, man. Appreciate that, man. And until tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, back around the water cooler. It is one love. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We are out of this mug. Holla. Eugene Asante, take us out, my guy. Let's go. Peace. Yeah.
Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Water Cooler Talks with your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick. Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode.